Hey people, welcome to Business Chats. Today we have a very special one. Our first male guest, Geoff Mina from Moxie, the best CRM out there, of course.
Yay!
We did it.
Finally! Amazing
Awesome.
tech. Love it. Gotta love it. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. Just finishing up my day, as usual.
Yeah, my day feels like it's just getting started.
Yeah, I feel like it's Monday for me, but anyway, there's a long list of things to do tomorrow. But anyway, can you tell us who you are and why are you known for right now?
Who am I? I don't know. That's a
Let's
hard question. My name is
go
Geoff.
full profit.
I don't know. What do I do? What am I known for? So right now, probably with this audience, I founded a company called Moxie back in 2019. I'm the CEO of that company and been having a great time building products for freelancers and creative entrepreneurs for the last few years.
Awesome.
Been building tech startups since I was like 22 or 23. I started my first one. And so over 20 years now, all kinds of different companies. This is my first kind of non-enterprise SaaS company. So it's been an interesting learning curve, selling single licenses instead of big
Yeah.
contracts, but it's been fun. Yeah.
That's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked for someone else, or have you always been rogue?
So I was employed for other companies doing software development from like when I was 19 to 23 or 22 or 23. And then I was employed by one of the companies who acquired a company of mine for a year. That was miserable. Didn't enjoy that.
Yeah,
One
I can imagine.
1 year contract came up and I was out of there. So
You were like,
yeah.
yep, nope, this is not for me. Bye. Thank you so much. I love
Um,
that. So in this
yeah.
very long career and also very short career as an entrepreneur, what do you think success is?
You for me, it's, obviously everybody always says, you're a successful entrepreneur if you make money, which I think is fine. Like everybody has to be able to support themselves with their entrepreneurial endeavors. But, I feel like after, 20 something years building companies and a lot of cool technology, like I really don't feel like I've worked many days in my life. Like I feel like I'm putting in a hard effort, but it doesn't feel like something that most people would call work. And I think that's really the key success indicators when you've created a business that you enjoy building and operating and participating in so much that it doesn't feel like work. Like that's for me the true spirit of entrepreneurship, because you get to carve your own path and spend your time how you want to spend your time and focus on what you want to focus on.
Yeah, I get that impression every time I sort of interact with you. I get the feeling like you're like playing with like curious, how does this work? How can I fix that? Let's do this. And then all of a sudden someone talks about something on Facebook and you're like, yep, I just changed that because why not?
I mean, it's one of the really cool things about Moxie is that the community who's using the software is so engaged and invested in the success of it. And in all of my kind of more enterprise B2B SaaS companies, that was not the case. It was like, people just didn't really care if it solved the problem. They didn't have a whole lot of investment.
So what do you think changed with Moxie? Because I feel like it comes from you guys.
I think it's, when we first started Moxie, I don't remember who said it. It may have been one of the investors in Moxie, but he called me unemployable. It's kind of what you were getting at before. I could never go work for somebody else. And I feel like the whole community of Moxie users were all unemployables.
We are.
And so like I think that's why it's different here, because like I feel like I'm just part of the community, not founder of a company. Like I feel like we're all in this together and it's just fun, and like we're trying to solve problems and collaborate and just make work more fun and easier. At the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, is make work easier for all of our users. So
That's absolutely right. You've made my life so much easier with Moxie. I cannot even tell you. So how did a Moxie idea come up?
So one of the other co-founders of Moxie, his name's Daryl. He's no longer around, but he was my chief revenue officer at one of my past companies. And so we worked together very closely. I was CEO, he was CRO, and like there were just annoying problems that we were constantly having to solve around systems. Not too different from what freelancers have to solve, but just at a bigger scale. And he was also a freelance photographer on the side. He's a great photographer. And, after we sold that company, started talking about what kind of problem we wanted to solve next. And I definitely didn't want to go back into like an enterprise B2B space. And, kind of thought about all the problems we had bringing together like our CRM and our ticketing system and our invoicing system and like all the things that Moxie brings together. We had like Salesforce and Zendesk and, enterprise accounting system. I can't remember the name of it. But like none of them talked to each other, and we spent way too much time, money, man hours trying to make them all work. So that was like kind of near and dear to me, to have this one stop shop for all of your business problems from a technology standpoint. And then, Daryl was like, well, let's go build it for creative freelancers and entrepreneurs and small agencies, because he struggled with the same problems in his photography business. So we kind of merged those two ideas, and Moxie was born. At the time, it was called Hectic, but now it's Moxie.
Why was it called Hectic?
So originally, one of the fun things about startups is it's all about experimentation. And so we had this grand vision of this juxtaposed marketing message where like we were the antithesis to hectic lives, of freelancers. We were like solve it. And it ended up being a really hard branding exercise to actually execute on, and people were just like, why is this called Hectic? It's not hectic. And we're
Not
clearly we had
really inspirational. It's not what I want to have in my business.
But the original plans and some of the early marketing, it looked like it was going to be like we could have fun with it, but it ended up causing friction, and so we rebranded and went to Moxie, which I think is it resonates a lot, at least for me, in terms of what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur.
For sure. You have a lot of audience in Australia. By the way, they're hating me right now because I'm doing this at 5 a.m. their time. So I guess they were in love with the word hectic. A lot of them were like, I loved it when it was called like that.
Yeah. So they were the only ones upset when we changed our
Australians being Australians.
Yeah. Like they were like, your bird logo and the word hectic, like it was so cool. And everybody in North America and Europe was like, yeah, great. I don't want to say hectic.
Yeah, but no. Would you say that was maybe the worst mistake that you made with Moxie? Or did you make others that you were like, well, I wish I didn't do that?
I don't know. I have a different perspective on what's like mistakes in startups and business in general. Everything is, if you go through your life as an entrepreneur with the mindset that everything's an experiment, and some things have the outcome you predict and some things have completely different outcomes, then you're not fighting this constant like internal dialogue around like mistakes and regret and like, I wish I didn't do that. It's just like, okay, we tried that, it didn't work, so then we go do something else. And
I love that.
And I like to put like decisions into reversible and irreversible buckets, right? There's some things that are irreversible. If you raise a bunch of money and you spend it all, that's irreversible. If you make some changes to the product or your branding or even your company name and logo, like those are reversible. Like they create some friction when you go do big changes like that in business, but it is reversible. And at this point, we only have, kind of some legacy OG users who even remember Hectic at this point. There's probably 10%. So, it was a fun experiment, didn't work out, so we rebranded.
I feel like that's one of the main characteristics that we as freelancers need to have. We need to be able to pivot whenever it is that we need to and adapt to whatever is happening in the market, in our business, in our clients' lives, like whatever it is, we need to be able to adapt to be able to come through.
Yeah, I mean, especially, some verticals are more impacted than others right now, but, AI completely changed the way content writers approach work, and even some software developers. And so freelancers and solopreneurs who have a positive attitude around pivots and change and, maybe changing your whole business model, you're more likely to not get discouraged and go find the next opportunity that whatever this environmental change has caused, and you just go figure out a different way to make money. And a lot of times you can use these big, macro changes in the way people consume media or tech to your advantage.
How do you see, because it's not easy to know when to take action on those changes and when to be like, I'm just going to wait it out a little bit more. Do you feel like you should just jump on it as soon as you start seeing signs, or you should just test it, or what's your approach on that?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of variables have to go into that, right? Especially as a freelancer, you're usually on a very small, tight budget in terms of the income you're bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who are one-man operations, like, they don't have a ton of excess income coming in to experiment. And so there's a balance there between just going and chasing shiny objects, which make, make more money if your hypothesis is correct, or, kind of staying true to those clients that are still paying you, but starting to look at where the trends are happening and, get your toes wet in more of a controlled manner. So, I think it's really personal risk tolerance and how fast you pivot and how holistically you pivot your business is going to be, the ultimate decider in when and how fast you do it.
Yeah, and a little bit of gut feeling in there. Now, to me, Moxie is the best CRM out there, and I feel like a lot of people agree. Why do you think that is?
Definitely, I don't like to ever talk badly about competitors. I think that, everybody in the space that's trying to provide CRM tools to our audience are doing it for the same reason. I think that we kind of had a special silver bullet here in that we had founders that were highly technical software engineers and also really good product thinkers. And when you look at the other, Bonsai, Dubsado, Honeybook, they all kind of have the same genesis, which is they were creative freelancers who decided to go build a software company, which means that they were probably spending money on building product from day one, which means that every change they have to either like have a team or, they need to outsource it. I don't know what their internal staffs look like. But, we kind of had this, recipe where we had really good product people, we had really good marketing people as founders, we had really good software engineers as founders, and it just allows us to move faster and listen and react to feedback in a much shorter cycle than what you see with some of the other platforms out there.
Yeah, to me, honestly, is the feedback thing, and the fact that your customer service is really amazing, and just the fact that we can jump on the chat and just annoy you with stupid questions.
That's
always fun.
That philosophy I've brought into all of my companies. So they're all like highly listen focused. Our sales people do less talking than listening, and our support people are always willing to talk. Like, it's just been, from very early on. And I always believed strongly that when you couple good technology with amazing customer service, like, people become loyal to what you're doing very quickly. Because, we have, arguably, there's, probably plenty of features on Bonsai or Honeybook that are better than Moxie's, but we have people stick around until our feature set catches up, just because, it's just a different type of company to do business with. And, hopefully people have fun, joking around with us and throwing out feature ideas and seeing, their feature requests turn into
and it's fun being part of that development process. Just throwing an idea out there and someone be like, that's actually a cool way of thinking about it. So one of my friends, Mariana, who's using Moxie throughout her business, and she's in Australia right now, so she's asleep. She asked me to ask you, when is Moxie going to implement autosave?
I think most of our things have autosave. I think there were a couple, like the new agreements did not until 2 days. Yeah, so we had, I don't remember who it was, but one of our users who's been around for a while lost like 3 hours of work the other day. She like messaged us and she's like, guys, what the hell? Where is autosave? And I was like, shit, we forgot to put the autosave on the new agreements.
See?
But that's kind of what, you use beta modules, like expect to find some unexpected things.
Yeah.
But, that module, it was incredibly complex to build. It has a ton of features. And so, we've been fixing bugs and improving stuff for 2 months now. And I think as of today, we've fixed every major bug, including the missing auto save and some other stuff. So, I mean, it's, if you don't have a tolerance for being disappointed in software occasionally, like don't ever use a beta feature.
Yeah.
Like,
It's gonna be tricky.
kind of comes with the territory.
Absolutely. I have another question for you. In your experience, what's the best advice that you can give a freelancer?
I guess it really depends what stage the
Good questions, guys.
So, I mean, for an early freelancer, I would tell them to get into freelancing slowly. Otherwise, it can be incredibly stressful. I think we see a lot of what we refer to as like side hustlers as the starting point into freelancing, full-time job, doing a little bit of freelancing, see some success there. Like maybe you go to like a part-time job and part-time freelancing, and, eventually you get to understand how to generate new business. Because I think that's where most people they underestimate how hard it's going to be to get a consistent revenue stream. You might be the best graphic designer on earth, but if you're not a good marketer or salesperson, you're going to have a really hard time closing deals. So, easing into it and having an opportunity to learn how to sell, to go do some workshops with good salespeople, like learn some of the marketing techniques, in a situation where you're not scared of running out of money next month. Like, I think that's that's probably the best advice I would give to an early stage freelancer.
That will definitely keep the fun in the process for sure.
Yeah.
And I have one last question for you.
Okay.
When is Moxie joining TikTok?
I hate TikTok. I saw Michelle's watching. She's the one who would be responsible for that.
What do you mean? TikTok is amazing, and the conversations that we're having on the Facebook group will go viral in seconds. I swear to you. Think about
TikTok may be an amazing platform for creators. I just personally, I'm also not a big social media person at all. So
Michelle is interacting right there. Now she's stressed. No, we don't want to stress you. It's fine. We'll just keep it on Instagram and Facebook. It's okay.
I mean,
Well,
I'm
thank
sure
you
if
so much.
you guys could pressure Michelle in the Facebook group, and she would probably start putting content on TikTok.
No, we love Michelle. We don't want her to be stressed. Thank you so much, Geoff, for your time. It's been great. I will share this with everyone. I'll keep just nagging you on the Moxie chat from time to time. Thank you so much for creating such an amazing app.
See ya. Thanks.
Bye.